It's me great pleasure to introduce my guest speaker, Sophia Stefu. Sophia, would you like to come in and introduce yourself and tell us when you joined the program?
Yes, so hi everyone. My name is Sophia. I'm originally from Greece. So I live in London for the last 4 years, and I joined the program this January that passed in 2024.
Fantastic. Yeah. Thanks, Sophia. Gosh, January, where has this year gone? It's flying by. Lovely. So let's tap into some questions, Sophia. So what is a career accelerator and how does this program differ from a traditional master's degree?
So because I did also like my master's degree in Edinburgh, so I could understand the difference. So the career accelerator for me, it was more like a very fast-paced, like a MicroMaster, a very fast-paced course that you get a really good idea of what's happening in that specific sector, and also from the professional aspect, not just from the academic perspective. Usually in the masters, you dive in a lot in the academic spectrum. Here you have also the opportunity in 6 months to get lots of accumulated knowledge and get also like more exposure in in projects they have to do like with real companies or fictional companies. So it's more hands-on and it's really good for 6 months.
Amazing. Thank you. And there's a lot of digital marketing content out there. What benefits of a structured program like this compared to learning independently? Like, what would you say are the benefits? Have you done any networking with alongside that? And has the program opened up any connections for you? Sorry, quite a few questions in one there. Let's do the networking. Have you done any networking, and has this program opened up any networking for you?
Yes, for sure. Like you meet many people from the very beginning, and first of all, you meet your peers, and many of them are already in the marketing sector. They're already like very successful professionals, or they just wanted to get more knowledge and go to more managerial positions. So no matter what, because you collaborate with them a lot, and you get to know each other in the personal level, and also in our case, we created group chats. So we some of them we met in person. So you have a lot of opportunities to network, and also their network connects with your network, and you meet also the team, like the professors that you have who are actually like we had Isaac, is really good professional, specifically in SEO. So you get a lot of new people that you get to meet in this specific field, and of course you help each other. Like you all might look for a job, so someone else might propose you something. So because you're all in the same field, you get to meet lots of new people in the same area, and that's really amazing.
It really is. It really is so great to see, and I loved that you all met up in person as well. That's so fantastic. Thank you. And what are the benefits would you say of a structured program like this? Like I said before, compared to learning independently.
Yes. So for me specifically, if someone doesn't have basic academic knowledge on the field, like I didn't have any knowledge on marketing. So when you don't know, when you don't have the knowledge, you don't know what to look for initially. So if you do some courses independently, you just do some courses from here and there, from things that you're hearing from other people, from something that you might see online, but it's never structured. So it never starts from A to B to C, which is something that a course can give you or a master's can give you. That is a unique opportunity. You learn everything from the foundations, the very high level, and this is a difference. And you get, I think you get more niche and more specialized this way, because you become a real expert in what you're learning.
Yeah, that's so true. Often I hear learners say that, you know, they're taking the program to fill in those gaps that they've got from that side of things. Fantastic, thank you. And this program promises real-world application of learning. How has this happened for you, would you say?
I would say, like, first of all, in all the courses that we have, either you have to create a plan for a fictional company or a real company, So no matter what, you have to get into the mindset of a real digital marketing professional to be able to apply your knowledge and do and complete the assessment, because that's how you're going to get examined as well. This is part of the whole exam system in the end, and how you get graded. So they want to see if you actually thought how this is going to apply in a real time scenario. It's not just an academic paper. It's more like that you try to think how you're gonna present this to real stakeholders. And actually, that's true. Like when we have the assessments and the presentations, part of the assignment is for us to real understand and capture how we're gonna present this to real stakeholder and who this stakeholder is going to be. So they try to make you understand how you're going to be in a real-time scenario. And of course, in the end, you have the employer branding project, which that is a real company. So you have a real client to focus on. So of course, this is a big thing.
Yeah, I love that. Getting you to think
Yeah.
like a digital marketing strategist from the get-go. And you mentioned there about assessments. Like, could you just talk a little bit on how you're assessed during the program and what that looks like?
Yes. So we have, as you mentioned before, Abby, we have 3 main courses and 1 employer branding project. So throughout all these courses, you have some assessments that you have to submit. And in the end, you have a final assessment. So it's more like an accumulated grade. You do some assessment initially, then you do the final assessment in the end. And the course is really good because it wants you to apply your skills and knowledge in different types of assessments. So it's not just the academic paper that you're going to submit. You have also to submit like a presentation or things like that. So you get exposure in different areas. So yeah, it's mainly like you have lots of assessment, you have a few assessments, but they all accumulate in the end in 1 grade per course. And you have different types of assessment to deliver, which again is really good for more exposure.
And variety, yeah, brilliant. Yeah. Thank you. The program includes a strong focus on data analytics and marketing data literacy. How would you say your understanding of data-driven digital marketing has evolved? Have you seen it shape your approach to digital marketing? Like, how has that impacted you so far?
Yes, it was really important actually, because I have to apply this knowledge now to my new job. So the thing is that the course does not require for you to generate all the data analysis, but it wants you to understand and have a really good an idea of what you're reading and what you understand, if it's a regression analysis or a standard deviation, because that's what you have to do if you become a marketing analyst in the future. So you have to be able to understand these ideas and sometimes generate them as well. So the course helps you to go throughout this whole process. And it's really, really significant because it's something that you really have to apply in most of the marketing roles that you're joining, even just to understand what you're reading. And that's super significant because you have the data analyst or the marketing ops team that they will give you all the data, and you will need to be able to understand what you're reading. Specifically for me, I didn't have any exposure before, especially like in theory, in like regression analysis. But it gets you in the mindset to understand how to read data. And to be honest, I spent a lot of time in course to just understand it. But now it's really beneficial because in my new role, they asked me to read data. So it's really important.
Wow. Yeah. Fantastic. Thanks, Sophia. I'll ask you about your new role in a moment, but I'm very excited to hear. In terms of balancing your studies and other commitments, like obviously you and I, having worked closely together throughout the program, I know what it takes. I know that can be an adjustment to start with. What strategies are you using, or did you manage to use to help with your time and your planning?
So I'm not gonna say, like, it is of course tense and you have lots of hours to commit, especially if you're working full time. And I was working full time as well. So I'm not saying it's something that it's gonna be very easy, but it can happen. And if you're very organized, it can happen without any discrepancies. So in my case, I always follow some strategies when I see that I'm procrastinating or something like that. So usually what helped me was to go to a different area to study. So I was going sometimes either to some cafeterias or like to the library. So I was always trying to be away from the room if I couldn't study there. And of course, I was trying to be organized in terms of my calendar. And I was trying to have like specific study sessions in a place that I really like and really relax me during the weekend, for example, because the program requires you to study many hours. So most of them will be during the weekend. So I highly recommend find a setup that really inspires you, and it's very nice and it's very beautiful and for your specific preference. And go there and spend time because you have to spend like definitely a few hours in that specific place, and that's the best thing to avoid procrastination. So yeah, that was my strategy, and it really worked personally.
Yeah. No, absolutely. And obviously, the course needs maybe 14 to 16, even up to 20 hours a week,
Yeah,
depending on
that's
how
right.
you study.
Yeah.
Did you find, obviously we do offer live classes and recorded classes as well. Were you able to catch up on those recordings of any live classes you've missed?
Yes. First of all, I tried to avoid missing any live classes. And again, that was part of my strategy. I think that if you have a very tense schedule with work as well, when you're going to the live classes, even if you know what you're gonna you know what you're gonna expect from the teacher, it's fine because you stay still on the same. You don't lose track, so it's very good because you listen the theories again and again and again. So going to the live classes is always super beneficial. Uh, but even when I missed ones, because I think the course also had recordings every time, and the professors always like uploaded everything super quickly. So I was just trying to see the recordings on the weekend, so I have time if I have any questions to send them on the community, and then you, Abby, or Isa, or another person from the forefront can answer me
Yeah,
quickly.
yeah.
Yeah.
Brilliant, thank you. Yeah, important to note that any live classes that do take place are always recorded, so you can, like you say, revisit over the weekend.
Yeah.
Um, Great, thank you, Sophia. And I'm now keen to talk a little bit about how the program has helped your career, and have you seen any immediate benefits or opportunities? I know you and I have had conversations when you've been doing interviews and how beneficial some of the course content was for those particular interview processes. But yeah, do tell, how would you see, how has it helped?
So, well, for me, it helped me tremendously. I said it many times to you guys as well. Like, I really wanted to. I was not originally from marketing, so I started from recruitment, and my master's was in human resources. But very quickly, I wanted to change. So I shifted to employer branding, but I wanted to go to marketing. So I was very keen to change to this field, and I was super motivated. And when I started, I did like a 360 approach, and I think that's kind of helped me to find jobs so quickly, because everything we're doing, the course have lots of accumulated knowledge again. But if you just, it's not just for you to study it academically. I think if you try to reapply it in something that you're doing, in any process that you're doing on your own, you're getting more exposure, and you really understand the field, and also you really get important information on how to understand the market, how to look for the market, and most importantly, the mindset you need to have as a marketer. Because trust me, when you have an assessment to do for a company, most of the times you just don't understand what they're asking because you're not very familiar with the field. You're still quite new to it. So having a course and a professor explain to you again and again that the web means SEO, this and that. So you keep all this knowledge and you try to reapply it on your own. And then when you have to do the real assessment, you succeed. And that's what happened with me. I started building my own portfolio. My career coach was there as well to help me. So I started very early. I was doing practice on my own with campaigns, like we're doing email campaigns in course one. And then I was doing my own like campaigns, and I was playing around with copies and everything, and SEO, which is really important, literally everything. So when the job came in August, they asked me to do a mini campaign, including email, social media, and SEO. I immediately realized what it was, and I managed to do like a strategy that, trust me, I would never be able to do it before. So that LSE really helped with that as well, a lot.
That's amazing. Thank you
Yeah.
for sharing. So fantastic to hear. And yeah, just looping back to that, I guess that independent learning that we spoke of, and getting you to think and empower yourself independently and challenge yourself. That's brilliant. Thank you, Sophia.
Thank you.
And you mentioned there about your career coach and your portfolio. Could you kind of talk more on what impact your career coach has had on your journey, and how have they kind of supported you with that and achieving your goals?
Yes. So my career coach, and I think by extent, all of them, like they have very good extensive knowledge in terms of how to build your career. So even if, let's say, even now that I got the role that I wanted, again, I had my call with my career coach, and she gave me some, let's say, advices that and some tips that you won't be able to think on your own, especially if you're new to the field. So these people are usually very experienced in the field, and they've been like through different roles. They've seen many things, so they know that what might happen in 5 years from now. So they're trying to help you be more proactive in that case. For example, I found the role, so I was super excited. So I didn't care anymore about LinkedIn. I was like, okay, it's going to be as it is. And she told me like, no, LinkedIn should be still very important. Like you have to build your LinkedIn page. You have to make it pretty. You have to make it like that. It has to be consistent with what is your personal brand, because one day you'll move to what you like in that role again. So it helps you a lot. Their experience, which is years later, helps you a lot to gain some insights that you cannot run out, because either you're a new professional or you're just entering the field. So I would say it's very good, very insightful. Career coaches are amazing, honestly. Like she helped me a lot throughout the whole journey.
That's so great to hear. Yeah, they are such a fantastic team, and I just love that. You know, obviously you've secured a job, but thinking about the bigger picture and those longer
Yeah.
term goals and where you might be in 5 years' time as well. So, yeah, thank you. Sophia, what would you say has been your biggest win on the program so far? Like, can you share a moment that you're really proud of?
Yes, for sure. Like I would say it was mainly with the presentations. You get so much exposure presenting. And for me, that is something that I think most of us really like. We fear a lot of public speaking and presenting, especially when you have to present something that it has lots of scientific knowledge inside. So that was the most important thing that I gained, because it's not just the exposure that I have in the course, it's also something that you will have to do it very often in your work or when you're doing interviews, like presenting properly, showing your expertise, and making sure that you has the right message to the stakeholders, and also like be confident, because trust me, that matters as well with the interviewers and everyone. So we have lots of exposure presenting, and especially during the assessment, you have to present a lot. You have to make sure that your presentation is proper, is very like insightful, it has all the information, it's scientific as well, and academic, very academic. So once you get all these, once you do it a few times, it will really help you tremendously when you're actually presenting something to the company that you want, because then now it's a safe space. Like with LSE, you have this unique opportunity to do these courses. You're in a safe place, and the other side is actually your professor, and you know that. But when you go to the interview, on the other side is the person who is interviewing, is the company that you love and you always want to go. So you're gonna be more stressed than now. So it's a good practice.
Absolutely, and like I said earlier, it's obviously not just the technical skills you need, it's those human skills, those soft skills. You've had
Yeah.
lots of practice doing those presentations.
And you receive feedback as well. That's really
Yeah,
good.
yeah, that's so great to hear. And are you feeling, now that you've done a few presentations, how do you feel kind of presenting to a stakeholder or a client? Do you feel like you've got
Yeah.
more confidence?
Yeah, much more confidence. I feel more relaxed because I'm used to presenting 10, 15 minutes of presentation. which that's a big thing as well. So yes, I feel much more comfortable.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Thank you. And then I was kind of on the flip side, in terms of your biggest win, like what would you say your greatest challenge has been on the program so far, and how did you kind of work around it and deal with it? What was the learning process from that?
So it wasn't, I know that most of the times we will expect to be the timing, but it wasn't the timing. So I figured that out. So I was really okay with the whole deadlines. I would say it was mainly to figure out how to do my assignment properly and actually respond to the question properly and dive in to that specific question without deviating to different aspects. And that's where it was really helpful for me to receive feedback, because again, you have the feedback session here that you don't have in real life. And that was my biggest challenge. It was many times that I was doing an assessment and I was feeling that I was out of context, like, or my theme was wrong or something like that. So because you're new and you're gaining more exposure now, you're getting more knowledge now, so you have to get used to it. And I remember that in the feedback sessions, I was asking every time, like in all the sessions that we have every week, I was asking, how do I do this? Is this correct? Am I doing this right? And there were many times that Isa were telling me, like, no, you have to do this. Don't forget this, the bigger picture. You're losing it. You're losing it there. So that was my biggest challenge. But I think for that case, having someone who can give you feedback is really good, because in real life, unfortunately, they won't give you feedback in that case. You would just be out of context and they would just take out your project completely without telling you why. And that's not very good. So you have this opportunity here to receive feedback.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Thank you, Sophia. Coming towards a few more questions I have for you. Thank you for giving us such great answers, insightful responses. Just talking a bit more, I guess, a bit about your networking now that you're kind of nearly finished the program. Do you feel connected with your fellow learners, and how did that kind of community that you had impact your experience on the program? I know you mentioned earlier that you all went to the library, which is fantastic. Like, yeah, how would you say that experience has been? Hopefully, your network for life, right?
Yes, it's really good. With some of them, we came really close. We became very good friends, and I just met them online. Like we didn't have the chance to meet in real life, but we kind of connected a lot, because you're working again. You have to work with your peers, and you have to be like very team oriented. So it's really good because you have to collaborate a lot with your peers, and you learn, like, you understand like, how they think, and you get different ideas. And the good thing is that they are all, at least in my course, I was very happy because all of them were super motivated to do their best. So they were very eager to connect with you, and you get to meet people that you discuss about your plans and about your future. And it's not everyone on the same level. Like, there are some other people that they have different experience and they will share it with you. And also, it's not just the people from this course specifically, but there are also people on LinkedIn that they reach out to us, who they are on the LSE course, and they were in different module, for example, and they could try to connect with me to learn about my experience. So I met many people from LSE in general who were doing marketing course in general, and they want to speak with me, and I want to speak with them. And of course, we kept in touch. And I think when you have something so similar, like something that you really love, because we all want to go to marketing, you always get to discuss about many things, about new opportunities that are coming out. So you come very close with the people, because you all have the same anxieties, and you try to overcome it together. So actually, that brings you really close with many of them. And yeah, with some of them, we have a WhatsApp group, and we chit chat all the time. So we are very good friends now.
That's great. I love that. Love it.
Yeah.
And like you said, you've all got different backgrounds coming from different industries, so it's so valuable to gain insights from each other and different perspectives throughout the program. Lovely. And just a side note from me, something this morning. So I saw that one of our graduated learners from a data analytics course recently posted about a job opportunity at her company. So and obviously saying to her fellow peers who she studied with on the program, hey, you know, we've got this opportunity, do apply. So that can always open up doors as well in terms of your network. Lovely. Thanks, Sophia. So in terms of the support, I feel a little side note of this one. Obviously, I've been part of your support on the program, but is there any kind of detail that you'd like to give in terms of how the success team, career coach, and the facilitators, how's that support been for you along the way?
I think it was like, yes, it was, the whole environment was very supportive, and especially in course one, because I guess that's when we start to get more familiarized with the whole course, and we still don't know many things. We're more stressed. So we have very regular sessions, especially with you. Like, we are in constant communication with you in the very beginning. I remember in the first courses, we're talking all the time. And I think then it was up to us to decide, like, whether we just want to speak less, like 2 times per month, or like 3. But you were always like there, and the teachers were always like, they were responding very quickly. So we have the student community, and if we raise a question or something, Gabriela, Isa were always responding to us super quickly. And if I remember that if someone felt that they were stressed, like with you specifically, many times we discussed, and I told you, like, oh my, the problems that are happening in my life right now, and so it's very supportive, because you get to hear, to listen to us, and if we have anything, if we need anything, you were always like there to support us. You, and of course, Gabriela, Isa, and the others, like, always there from a personal perspective.
That's great. No, thank you. And I just, obviously, anyone listening or here with us live, it's important to note, like, that support is there. We recognize that everybody's got their own commitments, life going on, and you know, whether you need technical support with the content, or just kind of strategic support from your success manager, or coaching support from your career coach, whatever it is, there is always somebody to reach out and help. Great. So in terms of the digital marketing tools, platforms, what could you elaborate on what digital marketing tools and platforms you've learned to use effectively
Yes.
during the course?
So that was, I think, is mostly, I think it's the most part of the most important things that you're learning here, because it's not just the tools that you're learning. It's also like the tools that the course is using are the most updated tools that the industry is using right now. So for me, that was a big thing, because when you're entering a specific industry, you don't know the tools, you don't know what to use. Again, like, you just ask or see some videos, but you're not very familiarized to understand what are the best tools. So in every course that we were doing, in every module, there was all the system had all the necessary tools that we needed to work on for our specific projects. So you get your hands in, and you have free trials with all of them, so you can play around with them for a long time. So that's actually really beneficial, especially tools like Asana or Semrush, which is super important tool, and many companies are using it. It's for SEO, and many companies will ask you to know it. So it's not just the tools that you're getting more exposure for, just to understand what the industry is using, is also that you're actually learning a tool, and is literally like one of the most significant tools that the marketing industry is using right now. So you can use this tool, play around with it, maybe become an expert as well if you want to. That's totally fine, and then you can add it to your CV, and now you are a SEMrush expert. Which, trust me, this is not a small thing. They are the companies themselves, they have internal webinars for their employees just for these tools, and it takes time and effort for their employees to complete the whole course. So you doing them beforehand for free, actually, and then adding it to your CV, that's very beneficial. So I think that was one of the most critical aspects of the course.
Yeah,
Yes.
fantastic. Thank you. Right, only one or two more questions, Sophia, then we will come over to our Q&A question box there. But in terms of the program preparing you to tackle the challenges of digital marketing in a rapidly evolving industry, like how has the program prepared you for that? As we know, like things are changing very quickly. We've got AI coming in. How would you say the program has helped you for that?
So I think the way the course is laid down, the program tries to make you understand that you have to do lots of market research when you're doing your assessments. And throughout all the courses, it was stated very clearly that you always have to do market research. You have to stay on track with all the trends that are happening currently in the world. So just starting only from the curriculum, you get a really good idea that you need to stay on track all the time, because this is very, very important, especially for marketing. Also, when you're having sessions with your professor, like we had ISO, for example, they always urge you to see the latest trends for something like the 2024, what is happening. They always try to give you some, let's say, some new tips, what happened in the world. Like ISO was always letting us know from her case studies that she worked on, what is happening now in the cosmetic industry, or there. And she always pointed out that you have to stay super on track with everything that's happening right now. So you get to have real-time examples from the professional that the professor that you're having in the course, because usually there are people who are very experienced in the field and they worked already in lots of marketing projects. So you get to see all the latest things that they're doing, and then the curriculum itself tries to prepare you and give you this mentality that you always have to stay on track. And even in the assessment, they always point that out, that you have to stay on track and how you need to apply this now, and of course with the latest technologies. Throughout all the courses, in the curriculum, they try to mention that these are the latest trends, these are the latest technologies that we're using right now, AI, augmented reality, whatever that is. You get to understand them, and they try to help you apply them somehow in the assessment, which is very good because this is the future, and it's going to help you a lot, like when you're actually in a real company. So
Yeah, brilliant. Thank you, Sophia. Lovely. And then I'm going to close off my final question to you before we do turn to the Zoom Q&A box. Is there anything you wish you had known before starting the program? What advice would you give to anybody thinking about beginning and starting this?
I won't say that, honestly. Like, I don't think you need to prepare yourself before the course starts. The course gives you all the important knowledge that you need to have, I think. For me, the most important thing is try to have, again, a 360 mindset. Like, this is not just a bachelor degree that you're focusing mainly for the academic perspective, what you want to learn. You're doing it to find your dream job in marketing at some point. So, again, the course is very technically based. It has like lots of practical activities inside. So even if you don't know anything beforehand, that for me that's fine, and sometimes it's even better because you get to learn things properly from an institution rather than learning it on your own here and there. So that's actually really good. But have a 360 minds and try to gain the whole let's say resources that the university gives you. It's not just the curriculum that it offers you to learn. It's also like a professional who is working with you on a weekly basis, someone that you might not have the opportunity to speak to them to another case. So they get to speak to you on a weekly basis and help you. These are your mentors. It's really, really important. And you also have the opportunity to get lots of exposure with tools. Try to do some practice on your own, like take everything and try to practice on your own, like gain more exposure, build your portfolio. We have sessions in the beginning in the orientation week that how to build your portfolio. If you have like any questions or something, at some point we wanted to focus more on the regression analysis to dive in more to it. And I think I think you, Abby, you went to the data analytics course and you gave us sessions from the data analytics course, Career Accelerator, how to help us and if we want to learn more about it. So you get a whole very accumulated 360 knowledge in 6 months, and try just to take advantage all of it, like not just the curriculum part. That's my main advice from my side.
It's great advice. Thank you. Thank you so much, Sophia. Really appreciate that. There's so much, like you say, so much to take advantage of, so many different layers there.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Okay, I'm going to have a little look at our chat box now, just to see what we've got. We've got a few questions in there, Sophia, so bear with me. I'm going to start here. Are there events to see other students in person? So we do, this is Amelia, we do have a kind of celebration event at the end of the Career Accelerator, where we would invite you all to come along to LSE in London, and obviously meet your fellow peers and celebrate that success in person. Great, sorry. Lovely. Just having a look. Is there any AI tools that are used during the course? Sophia, would you be able to?
Do you mean like we have, wait, do you mean like Osana or something like that, like a project-based tool?
So I guess to talk specifically, yeah, I mean, some of the AI tools, I know you're encouraged to use, certainly in course 3, there's Otter AI, which is a kind of
Yes.
note-taking, isn't it, for that team leadership piece of yeah, if you were running your own team. Is there anything else that you would say to that, Sophia?
I'm trying to think that because, well, all of them have their AI fundamentals inside. So I would say, if you mean in general, we have lots of exposure in project management tools that you're going to use a lot in the future. So project management tools and some specific marketing CRM tools that you get more exposure. And in the end, which are the SEO tools. So all of these, they have their own AI part inside, even the project management tools. I'm sorry, I don't know if I'm answering your question, but yeah, like we have in all the different areas of marketing that you get exposure to different tools.
Yeah. No, thank you, Sophia. Fantastic. Sorry, just another question. Will this course equip me with the skills needed to directly apply digital marketing strategies to my own e-commerce business?
No. I would say yes, because if it's in your own e-commerce business, yeah, that's really cool actually, because the course, as I said in the beginning, gives you the opportunity to gain more exposure in some either fictional or real company. And it focuses a lot on the digital marketing aspect. So it doesn't have to do with the traditional marketing. It focuses a lot on e-commerce and all the different aspects of digital marketing in all the different channels that you're working on. So whether you are an employee there or whether you are the employer, you get knowledge from both sides, especially if you want to be from the employer side. The third course, it's the leadership course. So in that course, you have to think more as a leader and let's say also as an employer, because you have to think all the aspects of the project that you're working on from point A to point Z, and the team that you're gonna be working on and how you're gonna manage your team. So I guess it's the same thing, but in a bigger spectrum. But also you get very good exposure with budget specific for marketing and digital marketing and all the strategies that are there. So I think if you want to build your own e-commerce, you get a real good understanding how to look for right budgeting and everything. So yeah.
Fantastic, thank you. A few that I'm just going to answer here. So, would I have access to LSE facilities to go to study? So, yes, if you are kind of local to LSE, to London and surrounding areas, you can absolutely apply for an LSE library card, which does give you access to the facilities there. And I have a sort of similar question: what are the requirements, and can I go to the LSE campus? So Josh will talk more a bit at the end about the course enrolment requirements there. Lovely. What if I join and have to skip for a week or two? Would I be able to catch up? Good questions. So I guess I could maybe answer this, and Sophia, you could certainly support as well. But I would say, you know, you're given, once you start the course, you'll kind of be better understanding of deadlines that you are working towards. My advice would be, if you are going away for a week, to essentially try and push ahead and work through some of the week that you're away of that module content, and just make sure that you're able to, if you've got an assignment due that week, to submit either earlier if possible, or obviously submit whilst you're away. But I wouldn't encourage anybody to skip a whole week. I'd encourage you to proactively kind of strategically plan a bit more around that week that you're away. Would you agree, Sophia?
Yes, just try to be very organized. Sometimes things might happen, life happens, so it happened to all of us. Just try to be organized. These courses like that require to be organized a lot. So if you know that the upcoming week you're gonna be unavailable, then I would say do a little bit more studying the previous week. So you can catch up later and inform your success manager that you're gonna be off for 1 week if anything happens. But yeah, if you try to be organized, I think it'll be fine.
Yeah, lovely, thank you. So we've had another one. Hopefully, I feel like you've answered this. Sophia, would you say that the course has helped you develop your skills?
Yeah, for sure. As I said before,
Yeah.
in lots of different aspects, and in terms of soft skills, and of course in terms of technical skills, you get very good exposure in both. So yeah, for sure.
Thank you. And what sets this program apart from other courses? There are so many out there. I think we talked a little bit more about this, didn't we, earlier on, in terms of that hands-on knowledge and kind of working with a real client at the end. Sophia?
Yeah, like as I said before, it's of course in the end is up to every person's preferences to decide. But I would say like you're choosing a course because you want to learn something from the beginning to the end. Like that's why you choose this. That's why I chose this course. And also it's everything like you choose LSE because they specialized in the specific fields. So you know from the very beginning that you're gonna get probably you're gonna get a very good knowledge on something. So when you always want to learn something new and you want to specialize in that, and you need someone to give you the best knowledge, you're gonna go to the person that you think is the best. So that's what I did from my side, and I think LSE is very reputable in this field. And I think also that when you add to your CV, everything matters. To your employer, it will matter to everyone. So of course, just specifically when you speak cynically about the course itself, of course there are other courses, but if you think the whole aspect of it, what you're learning from the course and all the extra things that you're gaining, there is a significant difference.
Yeah, fantastic.
Yeah.
Thank you. So I'm jumping around the questions. One asking about sharing LinkedIn success stories. So do take a look at 4Frev's LinkedIn. Lots of details on there and success stories that have tagged us in also. Do I get a certificate from LSE after completing, and how are the exams structured? So good question there. In short, yes, you will get a certificate once you have successfully completed and passed all of the 4 courses. So you will get an LSE certificate. In terms of the exams, as Sophia and I discussed and chatted through earlier, each course has sort of key deliverables that you're working on as you work through the content, and you are given kind of an assignment deadline date for those key deliverables to be submitted. So that would look like in the form of a presentation with slides, a report, and so on. So no sort of live exams in that way, but certainly assignment deadline dates that everybody needs to work towards and meet. Lovely. Sophia, do you meet with other learners? I think the answer we've already got to that is absolutely yes. Lots of networking from the get-go. Sophia even met learners in person and continues to have their WhatsApp groups as well, which is nice to see. How does the course address the growing influence of AI in digital marketing? Are there specific modules, projects focus on AI-driven strategies? Good question. And how do you foresee these impacting traditional roles? So Josh may be able to answer a little bit more about this at the end, but I do believe we are launching some AI sort of masterclasses that will be going alongside our course content that will be available for our new cohorts and current cohorts and previously completed cohorts as well, in terms that will address the AI data-driven strategies and so on. But as we know, it's ever changing. As Sophia mentioned earlier, there's lots of project management tools that we focus on through the course content that will help address some of those details as well, and give you a bit more insight into how to manage them and use them in your campaigns and so on. When is the next intake? Good question. So we do have another intake starting in October. Again, Josh will be able to talk a bit more about that towards the end. We are running out of time. For someone starting with little or no experience in digital marketing, is the course designed to build foundational skills effectively, or would you recommend gaining some experience before enrolling? Good question. I feel like, Sophia, you did, that was your final tip, wasn't it, at the end, in terms of no, I'll let you answer that one.
Yes, you will be fine. You get literally the basics and the foundations from course one. So I don't think you need to do any preparation. I didn't have any preparation and it went fine. So no, you're good.
Great. Thank you so much, Sophia. I think our final few questions are regarding payment plans and kind of requirements to start. So Sophia, I will let you go. Thank you so much for your input today and your fantastic insights to the program. It's been a pleasure to chat with you, and I'm sure you've really helped a lot of people who are either in this call or watching the recording make their decision as well. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Abby. See you all. Bye.
Bye. Hi, Josh. Nice to see you.
Likewise.
We do have a few enrollment questions, so I'm sure you want to put some more details in there to anybody thinking about joining us for our next intake or future intakes, and talk a bit more about the requirements and payment plans.
Certainly. Yeah, I'll do that now. Was lovely. Great to hear from Sophia. So just a couple of quick thoughts that came to mind, some of the questions that were raised and already answered. Sophia did a really good job, I guess, in highlighting some of the differences or the reasons that she decided to do the Career Accelerator compared to some other offerings. But I just wanted to summarize that a little bit further, in the sense that if you are comparing programs, the main outcomes of this program typically include the executive style career coaching. So as Sophia's highlighted, the huge support that they played in helping her land that role. And that's all throughout your entire learning experience. So it's really extensive, and we measure the success of the Career Accelerator in helping students achieve their intended career outcomes, rather than, say, just seeing you complete the program. We want to see that real world impact. So the career coaching is really significant from that component. It's coupled with the certificate of completion from the LSE, top 30 university in the world. So that's really difficult to replicate, and viewed really positively within industry. And then, of course, the project-based learning that was discussed, the employer project, all culminates in the digital portfolio of evidence that allows you to showcase your skills really effectively. And of course, then it's the length of time. It's a 6-month program. Learning outcomes potentially comparable, close to a postgrad. So, to get all of that learning within 6 months, rather than, say, a year or 2 years, depending on how far you'd stretch out traditional study, that's quite significant as well. So just wanted to summarize those things for you all. The two questions that I've got here are, what are the requirements? Sorry, my camera's a bit dirty. There we go. What are the requirements to start the program? And so the entry criteria. So we've got two main pathways and potentially a third. We would like, ideally, to see that you've completed at least a bachelor's degree with 1 unit of marketing in there. So that's pathway A, if you've done that. You may have completed a degree and it has no marketing focus. Fine. We still would look at that overall with some of your other experience as a positive thing. But if you don't automatically meet that, then we can look at your professional experience. We'd like to see at least a year of experience within a business setting, and ideally some exposure to marketing. So it doesn't mean that you're in a digital marketing role yourself, but you have had some exposure to some extent. In terms of who we see in that program with the experience levels, we have people in the early stages of their career with very little experience that are looking to get into industry or see that progression. But then we've also got our advances, people with years and years of experience within digital marketing that still also see that value. So we try to accommodate for both there, and it's worked really well so far. If you don't meet either criteria, you'd be considered an edge case or potentially not eligible. But what I would encourage as a part of this process is book a time with Shahana, the enrollment advisor for the program, who can talk through your circumstances and your motivations. If you are an edge case, we do have some primer courses. So there's some free online courses that you can complete in preparation. One, to give you a good feel that this is the sort of pathway you want to go down. But two, if you do complete it, we feel that that gives you the kind of baseline exposure and understanding that would give you the best opportunity to complete the program. So if you're an edge case, it is case by case. We consider everyone uniquely, but certainly still worth booking a time with an enrollment advisor if you really have that desire to do the program. Finally, permitting there's no late questions, the payment plans. So the fees are £6,300, and these have just changed, so I am looking at my screen to make sure I get them correct, but £6,300 or £5,825 upfront. So there's a £475 fee reduction if you can pay upfront. Alternatively, we have interest and fee-free monthly options, so 6 months predominantly, potentially 9 months on a case by case. And if those aren't viable, we do have a 24-month option as well with a finance provider of ours, Step X. You need to be based in the UK or Europe. And yeah, you could repay those full fees over 24 months. So it's as little as £237 per month. And then all of the options in between. We've got a few 6-month options depending on the deposit that you pay, ranging between 10 to 30% as well. If you book a time with your EA, we can then reach out to you with information via email, and importantly, discuss your circumstances as well. The intake is October 21st. We accept applications up until, generally speaking, a week before. So that would be the 14th. Noting, we've had 3 intakes and we've filled all placements. So we limit the placements for between 25 to 30 placements. Because it's a new program, we want to see that you're achieving the outcomes that you all set out to achieve. As you can see, with the support of Abby and the rest of the team, it's hyper-personalized. So we have that criteria to make sure we're getting people in that we feel we can support achieve their goals, and to make sure that you're committed there. So placement's still open. I'd recommend applying as soon as you're comfortable after you've spoken with an enrolment advisor, but all placements, but historically, indicate that they will fill. 2 options. I've spoken there about booking a time with the EA, with your EA, which would be Shahana, who's great. But also we have a eligibility survey that you can complete as well in preparation. Takes 5 minutes and gives us a good indication of if you meet the criteria or not. Allows us to have a more personalized conversation with you if you do book a time as well. Final opportunity to ask any further questions. Here we go. Good. Arabella. So when is the next intake if you can't make October? Dates are still being confirmed for 2025 at this stage. Well, we always have 4. So we'd be looking at a late January, probably early February, around April, mid-April, a July and an October. So that's kind of what it has looked like this year. Very confident that the first one for 2025 will be towards the end of January or early February. Just depends what your circumstances are and how quickly you do want to see that or have that meaningful impact on your career. Yeah, reach out. Let's talk to you about how we could potentially make it happen for October. Final questions? I think we're done, Abby.
Yeah, we're done. Thank you so much, Josh. That's super helpful. Thanks to everybody that joined and watching the recording. Hope to see you in October.
Yeah, thanks all.
Thanks.
Bye now.
Bye.